Guys, this is a book club live stream. So I am reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you guys are new here, my name is Steph and I'm traveling the country in my Jeep with my dog. We've been on the road for 2.5 years. We have live streamed through 44 states, and tonight we are in Florida. And we're tent camping, so we're in my tent and we're going to read this book. I'm just going to read a chapter or two. Last time I only read one chapter, so maybe tonight we can do two. I was just really tired the other night. Hi everybody. Hi Dee, City Boy Dan, Hannah, New Leaf, Southern, Piper, Mandy, Nature, FD. Hi guys. I hope everybody's having a good night. We just got done doing a TikTok live stream and that was a lot of fun. My sister went live with me and showed us her puppy, and we just kind of hung out for a while. You're watching from Alabama? Hi Charlotte. Where's everybody watching from tonight? So we're in Florida tonight. It's kind of muggy, kind of a muggy night. Nancy, Patty, Diamond. Hi everybody. South Dakota in the house. Hi Stephanie. Hi everyone. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of get started. Alabama. Hi Vicky. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the book. Tonight we are on chapter 27 and it's page 242. California, time for relaxing and reading. That's right, New Leaf. New Mexico, Alabama, Kamloops. Hey girly, hi Brandon. I look tired. Nah, I am starting to get a little tired. That's why I switched off of TikTok, because I was like, oh, if I want to do book club tonight, I better go ahead and do it now. It's 9:38 here, so it's getting kind of late. This is your first time listening, Sandra, I'm glad you're here. This is not going to be for everybody. So basically the story is, I just haven't read in a really long time. Ever since I started live streaming, it's been over a year. I just can't get myself to read books anymore. I don't have the attention span for it. So I decided to pick up this book one day randomly, and you guys were like, oh, why don't you read it out loud? And I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea. So we've been reading it on YouTube, and you guys are kind of holding me accountable to finishing the book at least. I would probably go faster if I was just reading it to myself, but reading out loud. Whoa, Beth with the $20 super chat. Let's go. Thank you, Beth. Thank you for the $20 super chat. That was so nice of you. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good night, Beth. Hi, Steph. Hi, Aaron. Oh, heck yes. The badge is a different color. Blue is the second month. Yes. Yep. Every month your badge will change to a different color. Heck yeah, we got you. 20 big ones. 20 clams. Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it. This is awesome. Yeah. All right, so tonight, now here's the thing, all of these live streams are recorded, so if you guys are new to this and you want to watch all the other live streams, we've done 13 live streams before this one. So today is our 14th live stream for this book. So you can always go back and watch the other ones if you want to. Lordy Lord. How you been? It's been good. The book has been good. So we're on chapter 27. So this book is about a girl who, she lives in this fantasy world, and basically she goes hunting, and in this world fairies exist, and she takes down a deer and a wolf, and she sells the wolf hide in town, and it's a fairy. The wolf is actually a fairy. Arletta with the $2 super chat. Let's go. Thank you, Arletta. Thank you for the $2. That was very nice of you. Thanks for sending that. And that was really nice. You guys, thank you so much for the gifts tonight. So she takes down the wolf. She sells the pellet, the wolf hide into town, and she actually took down a fairy. And so the fairy, the fairy's friend comes in, and he takes her, and he's like, a life for a life, and he whisks her into the fairy world. And so that's what's happened, and she's actually fallen in love with the fairy. So, and things have gotten a little steamy. Aaron with the $2 super chat. Wow, thank you so much, Aaron. That was your first super on a live stream. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. Thanks Benny. Thanks, you guys. You sent a question? Oh, can I have a few minutes time out? What do you mean? You can always pause the live stream and play it. So I won't pause for you, but you can always pause the live stream on YouTube. It's not like TikTok. So on TikTok, it's just playing. But on YouTube, you can actually pause and play. Happy birthday. Thanks, Melissa. Oh, I'm so sorry, Love Red Roses. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Hearts in the chat for anybody who needs them tonight. I'm glad you guys are all hanging out. I'm sorry if anybody's having any trouble tonight, but I'm glad I can keep you company. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, Trista. Hi, you guys. I hope everybody's having a really good night. Okay, so we're on page 242. This is chapter 27. You're from Brazil. Hello. Can you have a shout out? Sure. Hi. Oh, I'm gonna zip up my tent a little bit. That might help. I've got neighbors and I know I'm being kind of loud, so I'm gonna try to see if I can't try and get my tent to maybe help muffle some of the noise for them. You want a shout out? I already shouted you out. Southern in the house. Hopefully that helps maybe cover some of the noise a little bit. Probably won't do too much, but maybe a little bit. Are you in the correct live? I hope so. You're in my live. You're in mine. It's Lori. Hi, Lori. Okay. All right. We do have a couple of moths in here too, so. Okay. Your birthday's gonna be on Thursday too. Oh, happy birthday, Melissa. Yeah, we're camping. Yep, I'm in a tent. We're camping. We're in Florida. We went to the Everglades today. Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. Don't forget those contacts. Vanessa, you're the best. Thank you. It's really nice of you, actually, because I will forget. Oh, did I get the moth? I hope I did. Okay. All right, we're going to go. Is Twilight the book you're reading? Not tonight. This is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Sorry. I got a bug in here and I just squished it. I just squished the bug. Okay. You're in the correct place. Yes. Aw, thanks, Kawa. Hello, green hair is beautiful. Hello from Italy. Aw, thank you so much. Ciao. Okay, we're on chapter 27, page 242. Thanks for being here, you guys. I'm just going to read this chapter. The way that I've been reading is this is not an audiobook. We just kind of read a little bit and talk about it, you know. Ouch. I dropped you on your head. That's my dog behind me. That's my dog, Clover. Okay. All right. I lay in bed watching the pools of moonlight shift on the floor. It was an effort not to dwell on Tamlin's face as he ordered me and Lucian to leave and shut the door to the dining room. Had I not been so bent on piecing myself together, I might have stayed, might have even asked Lucian about everything. But, like the coward I was, I bolted to my room where Alice was waiting with a cup of molten chocolate. It was even more of an effort not to recall the roaring that rattled the chandelier or the cracking of shattering furniture that echoed through the house. I didn't go to dinner. I didn't want to know if there was a dining room to eat in, and I couldn't bring myself to paint. The house had been quiet for some time now, but the ripples of Tamlin's rage echoed through it, reverberating in the wood and stone and glass. I didn't want to think about all that Riceland had said, and I didn't want to think about the looming storm of the Blight, or Under the Mountain, whatever it was called, and why I might be forced to go there. And Amarantha, at last a name to go with the female presence that stalked their lives. I shuddered each time I considered how deadly she must be to command the High Lord of Prythian, to hold Riceland's leash, and to make Tamlin beg to keep me hidden from her. The door creaked and I jerked upright. Moonlight glimmered on gold, but my heart didn't ease as Tamlin shut the door and approached my bed. His steps were slow and heavy, and he didn't speak until he'd taken the seat on the edge of the mattress. I'm sorry, he said. His voice was hoarse and empty. It's fine, I lied, clenching the sheet in my hands. If I thought too long about it, I could still feel the claw-tipped caresses of Ryson's power scraping against my mind. It's not fine, he growled, and he grabbed my hands, wrenching my fingers from the sheets. It's Feyre, I wish, he said. He shook his head and cleared his throat. I'm sending you home, Feyre. Something inside me splintered. What? I'm sending you home, he repeated, and though his words were stronger, louder, they also trembled a bit. What about the terms of the treaty? I have taken on your life debt. Should someone come inquiring after the broken laws, I'll take responsibility for Andros's death. But you once said that there was no other loophole. The Searles said there was no loophole. A snarl. If they had a problem with it, they can tell me. And wind up in ribbons. My chest caved in, leaving, free. Did I do something wrong? I asked, and he lifted my hand to press it onto his lower cheek. He was so invitingly warm. You did nothing wrong. He turned his face to kiss my palm. You were perfect, he murmured into my skin, and then lowered my hand. Then why do I have to go? I asked. I yanked my hand away. Because there are people who would hurt you, Feyre. Hurt you because of what you are to me. I thought I would be able to handle them, to shield you from it, but after today I can't. So you need to go home, far from here. You'll be safe there. I can hold my own, I said. You can't, he said, and his voice wobbled. Because I can't. He seized my face in both hands. I can't even protect myself against them, against what's happening in Prythian. I felt every word as it passed from his mouth and onto my lips, a rush of hot, frantic air. Even if we stood against the blight, they would hunt you down, and she would find a way to kill you. Amarantha, he bristled at the name but nodded. Who is? When you get home, he cut in. Don't tell anyone the truth about where you were. Let them believe the glamour. Don't tell them who I am. Don't tell them where you stayed. Her spies will be looking for you. I don't understand. I grabbed his forearm and squeezed it tight. Tell me. You have to go home, Feyre. Home. It wasn't my home. It was hell. I want to stay with you, I whispered, my voice breaking. Treaty or no treaty, blight or no blight. He ran a hand over his face. His fingers contracted when they met with his mask. I know. So let me. There's no debate, he snarled. The more you hear her name, the more you like it. Don't you understand? He shot to his feet. Rice was the start of it. Do you want to be here when the adder returns? Do you want to know what kind of creatures the adder answers to? Things like the bog and worse. Let me help you. No, he said, and he paced before the bed. Didn't you read between the lines today? I hadn't, but I lifted my chin and crossed my arms. So you're sending me away because I'm useless in a fight. I'm sending you away because it makes me sick thinking about you in their hands. Silence fell, filled by only the sounds of his heavy breathing. He sank onto the bed and pressed the heels of his palms into his eyes. His words echoed through me, melting my anger, turning everything inside me into a water and frail. How long do I have to go away for? He didn't reply. A week? No answer. A month? He shook his head slowly. My lip curled, but I forced myself into neutrality. A year? That much time away from him. I don't know, he said. But not forever, right? I asked. Even if the blight spread to the spring court again, even if it shred me apart, I would come back. He brushed the hair from my face. I shook him off. I suppose it'll be easier if I'm gone, I said, looking away from him. Who wants someone around who's covered in thorns? Thorns? He asked. Thorny, prickly, sour, contrary. He leaned forward and kissed me lightly. Not forever, he said, onto my mouth. And though I knew it was a lie, I put my arms around his neck and kissed him. He pulled me onto his lap, holding me tightly against him as his lips parted mine. I became aware of every pore in my body when his tongue entered my mouth. That's so funny. I'm sorry, the way it's written sometimes. I became aware of every pore of my body as his tongue. I get so, I don't know what it is. I get so goofy about it. You see 48 likes. I see 48 likes too. Thank you for all the likes, you guys. We got 77 people in here and 48 likes. Thank you. We've been live for 15 minutes. We're on page 245. It's so funny. I became aware of every pore in my body. Though the horror of Ryson's magic still tore at me, I pushed Hamlin onto the bed, straddling him, pinning him as if it would somehow keep me from leaving, as if it would make me time stop entirely. His hands rested on my hips. Okay, I don't want to read some of this. We're going on to the next page. 246. Karen Mom with the $4.99 super chat. Let's go. That was your first super on a live stream. Thank you so much. Robert with the $20 super chat. Whoa, happy early birthday. Thank you for the birthday wishes, you guys. That was your 20th super on the live stream, Robert. Dang, hot dang. You have to read it. No, I don't want to read those paragraphs. They're too awkward to read. Aw, thanks so much, you guys. Thanks for the supers. You guys are the best. Thanks for the birthdays. Okay. We're going on to the next page, actually, 247. Okay, he lunged. So there's a line where she says, "Give me everything." So I think that he lunged. I think there was lunging. I don't want to read it. You chose the book. You gotta read it. That's so funny. All right, we're gonna. Aaron, it was just getting good with the $10. Aaron with the $10 super chat. We were missing stuff. We're on bottom of page 247. That was like 2 pages. Here's the last line. Thank you, Aaron. Here's the last line. We moved together, unending and wild and burning. And when I went over the edge the next time, he roared and went with me. That's the last line. We're at the bottom. We've gone under that. We're at the bottom. We're at the bottom when the subject has changed. Yeah, that was funny. Okay, all right. Page 247. I fell asleep in his arms. And when I woke a few hours later, we made love again, lazily and intently, a slow burning smolder to the wildfire of earlier. Once we were both spent, panting and sweat slicked, we lay in silence for a time, and I breathed in the smell of him, earthy and crisp. I would never be able to capture that, never be able to paint the feel and taste of him, no matter how many times I tried, no matter how many colors I used. Tamlin traced idle circles on the plane of my stomach and murmured, "We should sleep. You have a long journey tomorrow." That is so rude. That is so rude. Like, just leaving tomorrow just like that. If you skip the best parts. Tomorrow, I said, and I sat upright. See, she didn't realize. She was misled. His mouth was a hard line. At dawn. But it's not fair. He sat up in a smooth motion. Please, Feyre. Please. Tamlin had bowed before Rysand for my sake. He shifted towards the edge of the bed. Where are you going? Yeah, they just started purring. I feel like everything's moving slow motion on the screen, so if it's a little laggy, I'm sorry. If you stay, you won't get any sleep. Stay, I said. I promised to keep my hands to myself, which was a lie, such an outright lie. He gave me half a smile and told me that he knew it too, but nestled down, tugging me into his arms. I wrapped an arm around his waist and rested my head in the hollow of his shoulder. He idly stroked my hair. I didn't want to sleep. I didn't want to lose a minute with him, but an immense exhaustion was pulling me away from consciousness until all I knew was the touch of his fingers in my hair and the sound of his breathing. I was leaving just when the place had become more than a sanctuary, when the command of the Cyril had become a blessing, and Tamlin far, far more than a savior or a friend. I was leaving. It could be years until I saw this house again, years until I smelled his rose garden, until I saw those gold-flecked eyes. Home. This was my home. As consciousness left me at last, I thought I heard him speak, his mouth close to my ear. "I love you," he whispered, and kissed my brow, thorns and all. He was gone when I woke, and I was certain that I had dreamed it. What book are we reading? It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is our 14th live stream with this book. So if you guys are just hopping in, you can watch, this live stream, but I recommend starting from the beginning if you want, if you like the story. We're on chapter 28. I'm going to read one more chapter, and then I'm going to go to bed. She skips the best parts. I can't read some of it. Some of it's just too much. It got very steamy. They canoodled just now. All right, so this is chapter 28, page 249. There wasn't much to my packing and farewells. I was somewhat surprised when Alice clothed me in an outfit very unlike my usual garb, frilly and confining and binding in all the wrong places. Some mortal fashion among the wealthy, no doubt. The dress was made up of layers of pale pink silk, accented with white and blue lace. Alice placed a short, lightweight jacket of linen on me, and atop my head she angled an absurd little ivory hat, clearly for decoration. I half expected a parasol to go with it. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'll only read what I'm comfortable with, just because it's kind of weird. Some of it's too foofy. I said as much to Alice, who clicked her tongue. Shouldn't you be giving me a weepy farewell? I tugged at the lace gloves, useless and flimsy. I don't like goodbyes, and if I could, I'd just walk around and not say anything. Alice gave me a look. I don't like them either. I went to the door, but despite myself, I said, "I hope you get to be with your nephew again soon." "Make the most of your freedom," was all she said. Downstairs, Lucian snorted at the sight of me. "Those clothes are enough to convince me I never want to enter the human realm." We're on page 250. "I'm not sure the human realm would know what to do with you," I said. Lucian's smile was edged, his shoulders tight as he gave a sharp look behind me to where Tam was waiting in front of the gilded carriage. When he turned back, the metal eye narrowed. "I thought you were smarter than this." "Goodbye to you too," I said. Friend indeed. It wasn't my choice or my fault that they kept the bulk of their conflict from me. Even if I could do anything against the Blight, or against the creatures, or against Amarantha, whoever she was. Lucian shook his head, his scar stark in the bright sun, and stalked towards Tamlin, despite the High Lord's warning growl. "You're not even going to give her a few more days? Just a few, before you send her back to that human cesspit?" Lucian demanded. "This isn't up for debate," Tamlin snapped, pointing at the house. "I'll see you at lunch." Lucian stared down for a moment, spat on the ground, and stormed up the stairs. Tamlin didn't reprimand him. "Hello, beautiful. How are you doing? Beautiful, nice to see you. I'm a police officer. Hi, John. I hope you're having a good night." We're reading a book. I might have thought more on Lucian's words, might have shouted a retort after him, but my chest hollowed out as I faced Hamlin in front of the gilded carriage, my hands sweaty with the gloves. "Remember what I told you," he said. I nodded, too busy memorizing the lines of his face to reply. Had he meant what I thought he'd said last night? That he loved me? I shifted, already aching in the little white pumps into which Alice had stuffed my poor feet. "The mortal realm remains safe for you, for your family. I nodded, wondering whether he might have tried to persuade me to leave our territory to sail south, but understood that I would have refused to be so far from the wall from him. That was going back to my family as far as I would allow to be sent from his side. Sorry, that didn't sound like it made much sense. My paintings, they're yours, I said, unable to come up with anything better to express how I felt. What it did to me to be sent away, and how terrified I was of the carriage looming behind me. Hi guys. That part was a bit difficult for me to read. It was a little dry. You keep having to turn up your volume. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got people camping next to me, so I'm trying to be a little quiet. How are you? I'm good. He lifted my chin with a finger. I will see you again. He kissed me and pulled away too quickly. I swallowed hard, fighting the burning in my eyes. I love you, Feyre. I turned before my vision blurred, but he was immediately there to help me into the opulent carriage. Be careful what you read. He watched me take my seat through the open door, his mask a face of calm. Ready? No, I wasn't ready. Not after last night, not after all these months. But I nodded. If Rysand came back, if this Amarantha person was indeed such a threat that I would only be another body for Tamlin to defend, then I needed to go. He shut the door, sealing me inside with a click that sounded through me. He leaned through the open window to caress my cheek, and I could have sworn that I felt my heart crack. Aw. The footman snapped the whip. Just a reminder, I know that we have a few trolls in here. If you guys are bothered by the people coming in, they kind of spam weird things. You can block them and you won't see them in the chat anymore. And then I'll block them eventually, but at least that way you don't have to see them. So you can block people at any point. It's not like on TikTok. On TikTok, you'll still see them in the chat. On YouTube, you won't see them. So like this person here, there's like a couple people in here that probably will get blocked in a few minutes. Hi from India. Hi, guys. Fanny knows. Tamlin's fingers brushed my mouth. The carriage jolted as the 6 white horses started into a walk. I bit my lip to keep it from wobbling. Tamlin smiled at me one last time. I love you, he said, and stepped away. She never said she loved him. She didn't say it last night or now. I'm not a troll. I'm just being honest. Well, that's good. That's good, Tomo. I hope you're okay. I hope that the fear leaves you soon. I should say it. I should say those words, but they got stuck in my throat because of what he had to face, because he might not find me again despite his promise. Because neath it all, he was an immortal, and I would grow old and die. And maybe he meant it now, and perhaps last night he had been as altering for him as it had been for me, but I would not become a burden to him. I would not become another weight pressing against his shoulders. So I said nothing as the carriage moved, and I did not look back as we passed through the manor gates and into the forest beyond. Almost as soon as the carriage entered the woods, the sparkle of magic stuffed itself up my nose. Some of this writing is funny. Almost as soon as the carriage entered the woods, the sparkle of magic stuffed itself up my nose, and I was dragged into a deep sleep. I was furious when I jerked awake, wondering why it had all been necessary, but the air was full of the thunderous clapping of hooves against a flagstone path. Rubbing my eyes, I peered out the window to see a sloping drive lined with conical hedges and irises. I had never been here before. I took in as many details as I could as the carriage came to a stop before a chateau of white marble and emerald roofs, nearly as large as Tamlin's manor. The faces of the approaching servants were unfamiliar, and I kept my face blank as I gripped the footman's hand and stepped out of the carriage. Human. He was utterly human, with his round ears and ruddy face and his clothes. The other servants were human too, all of them, restless. Not at all like the utter stillness with which the high fae held themselves. Unfinished, graceless creatures of earth and blood. The servants were eyeing me, but kept back, shrinking away. Did I look so grand then? I straightened at the flurry of motion and color that burst from the front doors. I recognized my sisters before they saw me. They approached, smoothing their fine dresses, their brows rising at the gilded carriage. That cracking, caved-in feeling in my chest worsened. Tamlin said he had taken care of my family, but this... Nesta spoke first, curtsying low. Elaine followed suit. "Welcome to our home," Nesta said, a bit flatly, her eyes on the ground. "Lady." I let out a stark laugh. "Nesta," I said, and she went rigid. I laughed again. "Nesta, don't you recognize your own sister?" Elaine gasped. "Feyre?" She reached for me but paused. "What of Aunt Ripley, then? Is she dead?" There was a story, I remembered, that I'd gone to care for a long-lost wealthy aunt. I nodded slowly. Nesta took in my clothes and carriage, and the pearls that were woven into her gold-brown hair gleamed in the sunlight. "She left you her fortune," Nesta said flatly. It wasn't a question. "Feyre, you should have told us," Elaine said, still gasping. "How awful. And you had to endure losing her all on your own, you poor thing. Father will be devastated that he didn't get to pay his respects." Such simple things, relatives dying and fortunes being left and paying respect to the dead, and yet a weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying eased. These were the only things that worried them now. "Why are you being so quiet?" Nesta said, keeping her distance. I'd forgotten how cunning her eyes were, how cold. She'd been made differently, from something harder and stronger than bone and blood. She was as different from the humans as I had become. "I'm glad to see how well your fortunes have improved," I managed. "What happened?" The driver, glamored to look human, no mask in sight, began unloading trunks for the footman. I hadn't known Tamlin had sent me off with belongings. Elaine beamed. "Didn't you get our letters?" She didn't remember, or maybe she'd never actually known then what had been able to read them, that I wouldn't have been able to read them anyways. When I shook my head, she complained about the uselessness of the post and then said, "Oh, you'll never believe it. Almost a week after you went to care for Aunt Ripley, some stranger appeared at our door and asked Father to invest money for him." Father was hesitant because the offer was so good, but the stranger insisted, and so Father did it. He gave us a trunk of gold just for agreeing, and within a month he doubled the man's investment. And then money started pouring in, and you know what? All those ships we lost were found in Barak, complete with Father's profits. Tamlin had done that for him. I'd ignored the growling hollowness in my chest. "Feyre, you look as dumbfounded as we were," Elaine said, hooking elbows with me. "Come inside. We'll show you the house. We don't have the room to decorate it for you because we thought you'd be with poor old Aunt Ripley for months yet. But we have so many bedrooms that you can sleep in a different one each night if you wish." I glanced over, we're on page 254. This is the last page. I glanced over my shoulder at Nesta, who watched me with a carefully blank face. So she hadn't married Thomas Monderay after all. "Father will likely faint when he sees you," Elaine babbled on, patting my hand as she escorted me to the main door. "Oh, maybe he'll throw a ball in your honor, too." Nesta fell into step behind us, a quiet, stalking presence. I didn't want to know what she was thinking. I wasn't certain whether I would be furious or relieved that they'd gotten on so well without me, and whether Nesta was wondering the same. Horseshoes clopped, and the carriage began ambling down the driveway, away from me, back to my true home, back to Tamlin. It took all my will to keep from running after it. He said he loved me, and I felt the truth of it with our lovemaking, and he'd sent me away to keep me safe. He'd freed me from the treaty to keep me safe, because whatever storm was about to break in Prythian was brutal enough that even a high lord couldn't stand against it. I had to stay. It was wise to stay here, but I couldn't fight the sensation, like a darkening shadow within me, that I'd made a very, very big mistake in leaving, no matter Tamlin's orders. "Stay with the High Lord," the Searl had said. It was the only command. I shoved the thought from my mind as my father wept at the sight of me, and did indeed order a ball in my honor. And though I knew that the promise I had once made to my mother was fulfilled, though I knew that I was truly free of it, and that my family was forever cared for, that growing, lengthening shadow blanketed my heart. And that's where we're going to leave off on page 255, chapter 29. Good night, Piper. I want to read another one, but I already know. I already know that I shouldn't. Thank you for reading to us. Great job. Oh, yeah. It actually went by really fast. That was only 34 minutes. I feel like I should read another one, but I'm going to just leave it at that. And then maybe I can read an extra one tomorrow or something. It's getting good. Yeah. Okay, so here's already what I know is going to happen. I think she gave a different girl's name. The person asked her what her name was, and she gave a village girl the name. Do you remember? This is what I read the other night. He had backed her against a wall, and he said, "What's your name?" And she didn't give her own name. She gave a neighbor girl's name. So I bet you they're going to come for the neighbor girl. Thank you. Happy birthday. Is the good book good? I think it's all right. It's not my normal style of book. I like adventure books, but romance, I mean, it is what it's fine. It's about to get really good, says Vicky. Contacts, yes. Yes, I will take out my contacts. They're getting out. I'm gonna wash my hands first. I'll go to the bathroom and wash my hands. Tomorrow is my birthday. Today we went to the Everglades and I posted a video on TikTok. I haven't posted it on YouTube yet. I don't know if I will. I can't use the music. So it's like a 5-minute video montage of all the stuff I saw at the Everglades. So that's on TikTok if you guys want to go look at it. I'll probably try to figure out a way to get it onto YouTube. Read another chapter tomorrow. Good night, Stephanie. Good night, Arletta. Thanks for all the love tonight, you guys. I'm sorry to make tonight so short. Something is definitely going to happen with that girl. Oh, for sure, Trista. They don't write about stuff like that without it, without something happening. Thanks for being here and for watching. We got 71 people in here and 68 likes. Thank you guys. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe. I'll probably get on here tomorrow night and read again too. Tomorrow's my birthday. I think I'm going to get up and have a birthday coffee with TikTok tomorrow. Good night. Thanks for reading to us. Have a good night. Good night, you guys. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a really great night. Bye, guys. Good night.